Next, from Springfield, we talked to Cynde Bunch, the owner and partner of the Walker's Bluff Vineyard in Carterville. Mrs. Bunch talks to us about the features of her vineyard and her reason for being at the state capitol, which is to talk to legislators about the challenges of receiving a gaming license in Illinois. This runs about 10 minutes.
Cynde Bunch, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel. And I will tell the viewers I recently had an opportunity to visit your winery and development in southern Illinois. It's in Carterville, which is not too far from Carbondale, which people might be more familiar with. Tell us, what would Walker's Bluff offer people, and how long has it been around, and how did you get started with the idea to build a winery?
Well, we started in 2007. I inherited the property from my great-grandmother and grandfather, and my husband wanted to start a little vineyard, and we began planting some grapes at the end of the road, and every Sunday we had hundreds of cars coming down to see what we were doing. And we have a park-like atmosphere there. I asked my husband, I said, I'm out there picking up trash. I'm like, what do we do? And he said, put a gate up and charge admission. And that's how it began in 2007. 2009, we opened the Legends restaurant, and we have been booked with a wedding almost every weekend since. It's just, as you know, it's picturesque, and everybody wants to come there. It's very serene, and people want to come. We have fabulous wine, Illinois wine. We've grown our own grapes and have a great winemaker who makes fabulous wine, and the entertainment is just A1.
It's funny because I've heard over the years a number of enterprises where people almost back into them, and it sounds that's what you did. It wasn't like you had a grand scheme and a 5-year plan. You just going to happen.
We just planned to start a little area of agribusiness, and my uncle who lived on the property had been let go from a trucking company that had been purchased by a large company. He was making $28 an hour, and they cut him down to $8.50 an hour. So he came and said, I need a job, and he was a good farmer, so we started building Walker's Bluff.
And I would say, having just recently been there, it's tucked away. It's not like sitting right on the road. You almost got to know where you're going. But it's really magnificent when you drive into the property. You have what? How many acres altogether?
370 acres, and I acquired 160, and then now we have purchased others onto it because of the development we intend to put in.
I would say I have had the pleasure to go to wineries out in Sonoma, California, and others around Illinois. Yours really is, and I wouldn't say this, is really maybe the most magnificent that I've been to. In terms of the construction that you've done, the underground facilities, how did you come up with that concept, and how long did that all take?
I was a nurse in the coal mines to begin with, and so the coal industry actually helped us to put in the cave because it was soft dirt there. It wasn't, the caves out in California are actually done in granite and hard rock, where we actually used, coal miners came and put the underpinning in, and we sprayed the walls and made the caves. And having an engineer husband also helps because he has his little mind going all the time on stuff.
So right now you have a general store, you have the tasting room, which is a fantastic bar area. People can take a tour of the winery. They have the underground, you have a huge tasting room down there that's been developed, and I understand you even have weddings down below.
Yes, we do. We have, they call it the cave, and they have weddings that go into the cave, or they can actually use the tasting room as well, just to do their reception in, and or they'll do I think they call it the Enchanted Forest, which those weddings are beautiful out there, especially this 2 weeks ago when the fall leaves were falling. It was stunning. Yeah,
so they can, as you say, go out and have a wedding in the woods. Yes. With the leaves falling and all.
Or in the vineyard. We've had lots of brides that want to be in the vineyard as well.
And of course, people will remember this past summer we had the total eclipse of the sun, and we're going to have another one coming up in southern Illinois in about 7 or 8 years, I think. You had one of the fantastic How many? Tell us about what you had going on for the total eclipse this summer.
Okay, we had Moonstock, and we've actually, that will be an annual event for us, where we will always have something, whether or not we have an eclipse or not. Again, in 2024, April 2024, there will be another total eclipse, and we'll do a huge event. But each year between now and then, we intend to do some type of entertainment and do a festival.
How many people came this past summer, do you know?
17,000. Yeah.
And it goes to show, because you have that much land, and that's one of the things that's different about your winery and area. You have so much land, it gives you the latitude of doing these really massive, 17,000 massive events where you had, bands for 3 days playing?
Yes, we had 31 bands over 3 days. We had camping, had over 1,000 people that camped. It was amazing to me. In the 3 days, we did not have one issue of any type of arguments, fights, anything. It was really a truly Woodstock type moment without the rain, thank God. So.
Well, having said that, let's transition a little bit to what brings you to the state capitol and what are your future plans for this, because you're already having an economic impact in the area with the people that come to visit, but you want to do a lot more. Is that right?
Absolutely. Our intention is to build a 300-room facility with 2 hotels, 35,000 square foot conference and convention facility, and gaming. And why we are back in Springfield again, we've been trying this for 5 years to get this off the ground. 3 years ago, we had hoped that we would have gotten the okay, and we're still...
Or a gaming license.
Or a gaming license. Wasn't our choice to do gaming, but in order to get the convention business on an RFP standpoint, people that go to conventions want to have gaming. That's the second thing that they're checking off after the nice hotel.
And I understand, because people have heard about your location, you've had a number of conferences call and try to book there, but you've had to turn them down because you don't yet have all the facilities.
We don't have the hotel and all of the facilities yet. We can do, and we make do, and thankfully the people are very willing to accommodate what we can accommodate, and we'll set up with the local hotels. We've got a nice business partnership with the other hotels, and we have a trolley that can go get folks, and people will drive, but it'll be better when everything is on one location.
So as you say, you want to build the hotels with 300 plus rooms, let's say. You want to have a conference center for meeting areas, a spa, an entertainment center, some more,
park.
And a water, 24 hours year round, right?
12 months out of the year, water park, yes. Indoor, outdoor.
And so you're going for a gaming. Now, the other thing is, a lot of these, would I be right to say, some of these conferences are maybe relatively close, but they might be people coming in from St. Louis or maybe even from some other, state much further away. So it's one of the challenges for getting the gaming license. What arguments or challenges are you hearing when you say people give you kind of pushback on your effort to get a gaming license?
Actually, we really haven't had any real pushback. The SB7 has passed, so now we're waiting for it to be called. That is our biggest. We can't figure out why it isn't being called in the House.
Those who don't know, what's SB7?
SB7 is Senate Bill 7, and it was Walker's Bluff was included in the gaming bill, and it included 4 other facilities throughout the state that would hugely impact everywhere. It would hugely impact development and growth for the areas.
And so you're pushing for legislation to get this license, but what are the pieces of legislation that you need to have passed?
I need Senate Bill 7 to go on to the House and be passed and then signed by the governor. Senate Bill 7 includes 6 total licenses for facilities throughout the state.
And I understand you've had some projections, you've worked with economic development projections on what it would mean in terms of dollars coming into that area. And again, this is an area of the state, while it's beautiful, it's also frequently had some of the highest unemployment in the state. Economically, what would it mean, according to your projections, for that region of the state?
It would be initially it would be over 1,000 construction jobs, $40 million just in construction paychecks for the area. Once it is ongoing, then we would have over 800 full-time employees, and the economic projections is over 62 million. Just our facility, not all of the other impact. People stopping to get gas, eating breakfast at the Sunnyside Cafe or wherever, and just coming to the area. It would mean a huge. It's the pin that changes everything for Southern Illinois. And it improves everything, all of the school districts, the numbers of employees that we would have to recruit to come in, because there are not enough folks there, so we would have to bring some in. That would make a boom for the housing market. Everything changes with this. Last Wednesday we had 29 of the large stakeholders that came. Every mayor from the area came, every representative and every senator was there, and just hearing the stories of what this will mean, even from little towns like Cesar, Illinois, north of us. It's 2,000 people. The mayor, Jason Ashmore, was talking about the huge impact that it would have on his constituents that live in these sleepy little towns that have been left when the coal mines closed up. It would change the way that those folks can live.
And if you get the gaming license, on what kind of a timeline would all of this development happen?
The day I get it, the bulldozers come in. We're already 2 years behind. We should be cutting a ribbon in January of opening. So it would be we have a 2 to 5 year plan on how it would be finished out.
Well, it's a lovely area, and so far everything you've done is also very tasteful. It's very impressive, and I think the pictures of the story of our visit there would tell its own, convince people. Thank you for joining us. Maybe we can follow up with you again.
Great. Good to be here.